Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the 23rd episode of Rowen Reports with Dr. Robert J. Rowen. Today, we welcome C60 co-founder Ken Schwartz to the show. C60 is one of our very first sponsors, and we are delighted to host them for an episode to tell us more about what Carbon 60 Power can do for you. Let us know what you think in the comments of this video, and if you'd like to support this podcast, please visit our generous sponsors by following the links in the description below. Don't forget to use the promo codes for discounts on every order. Before we jump in, we would like to give a special thank you to our sponsor at PROMOLIFE, bringing you closer to the benefits of ozone therapy. Proudly rooted in the USA, PROMOLIFE is at the forefront of assembling ozone therapy generators designed for both personal and professional use right here on American soil. Meticulously handcrafted and precision calibrated, each ozone generator speaks quality and reliability. PROMOLIFE has simplified the ozone therapy process by offering a complete line of high-quality accessories that allow you to use ozone in ways you never thought possible. Don't miss out and explore their entire collection of cutting-edge offerings at www.promolife.com/ozone. Make sure you use the coupon code in the description of this podcast for an exclusive discount towards your journey to enhanced well-being. I am also excited that our friends at shopc60.com are helping to sponsor this video. If you haven't heard of C60 before, also known as Carbon 60, it is a powerful antioxidant that helps to optimize mitochondrial function, fight inflammation, and neutralize toxic free radicals. I'm a big fan of using C60 in conjunction with a keto or intermittent fasting lifestyle to support the immune system, help your body detox, and increase energy and mental clarity. If you are over the age of 40 and you'd like to kick fatigue and brain fog to the curb this year, visit shopc60.com and use the coupon code in the description for 10% off your first order and take control over your health today. This episode is also brought to you by Simply O3. We are proud to introduce our latest innovation, Glycine, a premium ozonized glycerin designed to support your wellness journey. Ozone therapy has been transforming health for over 100 years, backed by more than 2,500 medical studies. Known for boosting immune function, improving blood flow, and reducing fatigue, it is a powerhouse for your health routine. Ready to experience Glycine for yourself? Visit www.simplyo3.com/ozone. If it's back ordered, just leave them with your email, and you'll be the first to know when the next batch is ready. Don't miss out and discover the benefits of Glycine to take the step towards better health today. And remember, your health is an investment, not an expense. With Simply O3 and the revolutionary product, Glycine, you're choosing quality, innovation, and care. Visit www.simplyo3.com/ozone to make Glycine a part of your wellness routine today. Last but certainly not least, this episode is brought to you by NORDIC Health Solutions. Founded in Annapolis, Maryland in 2009, NORDIC Health Solutions is a leading biological medicine company offering a diverse range of healing modalities. Their devices provide the body with energy and tools needed for healing, repair, and disease prevention through pulse electromagnetic frequencies, light, temperature, and gases. Nordic Health Solutions devices excel in both energy medicine and light medicine, aka photobiomodulation. Their red light bed offers an unmatched power and frequencies at half the price of the competitors, and their Hercules Smart Thermal Laser is exceptional for pain management. Their motto is to outpower and undercut the cost of the competition. Finally, ozone therapy, including home ozone generators and the renowned Zotzman Ozone Hyperbaric High Dose 2000 for clinical use, delivers impressive results. Physicians can attend quarterly ozone training workshops in Santa Rosa, California with Dr. Rowen and Dr. Sue. Learn more about Nordic Health Solutions and their mission at www.nordichealthsolution.com.
Okay, I'm pleased to have Ken Schwartz on with me from C60. We featured C60 on a podcast before, but there's lots of new stuff out there. I like the product. I want my listeners to know that. Terry and I do take it. In all honesty, I can't say anything about it because I take about 10 to 15 different products. I have macular degeneration, as most people know, and I think anybody in my situation would be taking lots of different things. I will say that my eyes are stable, thank God. In fact, they may actually be improved. And I'm not going to give any one thing the credit for this because I'm taking so many different things. I've even had stem cells and exosome injections. So, but C60 is a standalone product that is really unique and may be extremely useful for mitochondria and energy. And I wanted to give Ken another bite at the apple here on my podcast. So, Ken, take it away, please.
Well, my actual experience is why the whole company was started was C60 basically got rid of my DRUs, or dry macular degeneration. I've been working on a fusion reactor project, and so I was using C60 as a radiation protectant. They had some scientific studies where they gave one set of rats C60, the other set, were controls, didn't get any, and then they hit them with a fatal dose of radiation, and the C60 rats lived where the other rats died. So, obviously we were using that. And about 7 months after taking the C60, I went to see my optometrist, and my DRUs, or dry macular degeneration, had completely disappeared. And I'd had it for a bunch of years, and it was slowly progressing. And my eye doctor was kind of surprised, or optometrist, I should say, because he'd never seen that before.
Right.
And considering my situation, I made a preparation of C60 in MCT oil. And as we know, MCT is medium chain triglycerides. Yeah, because my electrical engineer, Gary Rodriguez, he had developed severe wet macular degeneration, primarily because he had type 2 diabetes, right? It's a contributing factor. So, and as you know, MCTs can be turned into ketones by the liver very rapidly, and that acts as like a flex fuel for your cells. They can burn on ketones, they can burn on glucose. So he took a tablespoon of this for about 15 months, and his severe wet macular degeneration completely disappeared, and his type 2 diabetes went subclinical. And that's really the point at which I started C60 Purple Power, which we know today is C60 Power.
Well, I have several thousand readers on my Substack who are following me. And obviously, they're all delighted that my eyes are stable. I've used C60 most of the time, but not every day. So with news like that, I'm going to use it every day. And I'll do exactly what you say, and then I'm going to get another report and let people know. I don't think you would have any objection if I continue taking the other supplements as well.
Oh, no.
Right?
No, I do the lutins and xanthins and all that kind of stuff, because I had been taking them before. And, it kind of was, slowly progressing. So, and those are useful nutrients. C60 is just one tool in the toolkit for, good health. You still have to, eat healthy food, organic food, drink, water, get your exercise, proper supplementation, because a lot of our foods today are so deficient in nutrients and vitamins that you really just have to supplement.
Now, by the way, if I hold my finger up, it's to raise a question or a point. Your C60 comes in olive oil or MCT oil?
And avocado oil.
Is there a difference in what you would expect from these three things, or is it a matter of taste?
Well, it's mostly a matter of taste. There's a little bit less C60 in the MCT oil because it is a medium chain triglyceride. And C60 is it uses a van der Waals force. That's like hydrogen stickiness to stick to the thing. It's non-polar, so it can't dissolve in water, so it has to dissolve in an oil. And for people to know, C60 is a molecule of 60 carbon atoms shaped like a little soccer ball. And it was discovered in 1985, got a Nobel Prize in 1996. And then when they went to testing for animal studies, for toxicity, it actually increased the lifespan of those test animals by 90%. Now, that's kind of how it started. Well, actually, those were Worcester rats. They're kind of wimpy rats. And so, usually they die of cancers and other degenerative diseases, and they didn't. Obviously, the C60 Worcester rats lived a long time. They did another study. It took like 5.5 years for that study. So somebody else, in the meantime, did a study with mice, and they used wild-type mice, and they increased the lifespan of wild-type mice by 11% and completely prevented cognitive decline during aging. So that's more likely what, wild-type humans are likely to experience.
Let me ask you something, and I'm glad you showed the model, because that was my next question. The viewer needs to know what C60 is. So it's a soccer ball shape. It's a fullerene. And it's hollow in the middle. Am I right?
Yes, and that's actually one of its secrets. You notice if you look closely, I have like little white balls in the center. And that's kind of one of its magics. Most molecules in nature get a positive charge by releasing an electron into the aqueous environment. But C60 actually pulls positive hydrogen ions inside of its cage-like structure and then uses those to neutralize negative oxidative radicals. And the only two oxidative radicals C60 actually neutralizes is superoxide. That's an oxygen with an extra electron. And if you imagine, oxidative damage is like your body rusting, well, there's nothing more likely to cause rust than a superoxide. And it also works on the hydroxyl ion. And that's basically a water molecule missing its proton. And so those are the only two that it works on.
For the viewer, from my perspective, the hydroxyl radical is the worst of the free radicals. So if you've got something that can neutralize the hydroxyl radical, to me, that's pretty huge.
Yes, and so that's what the studies have found, and those two, and it doesn't interfere with any of the body's signaling molecules like nitrogen oxides or hydrogen peroxides, and there's a bunch based around sulfur, and iron, and zinc, and these are oxidative radicals, but the body uses them for signaling, and so since C60 doesn't interact with any of those, then it has really no toxicity at any level. So, because a lot of antioxidants like vitamin D or vitamin E, if you take too many of them, it actually starts interacting with these oxidative radicals that are signaling molecules, and it'll actually cause a decrease in health and fitness. C60, because it doesn't do that, it really has no toxicity. They've even given it to test animals at like 10,000 times the health beneficial amounts, and there's no toxicity. Of course, you're not getting any more added benefit. So probably more than a tablespoon or two a day, even if you're a little bit old, isn't probably going to give you any more, but you don't have to worry about the toxicity part of it.
So you're saying that even at 1,000 times what we take, there's no toxicity to this?
There's no toxicity. And because superoxide and the hydroxyl ion are not used by the body as signaling molecules because they're so damaging. And so
how does the body get rid of it?
That's what's been found in scientific studies.
How does the body? I mean, everything has toxicity.
Oh, it does
dependent. Even water is toxic in high amounts. This is not toxic at 1,000 times.
Yeah, 1,000 times. It was given orally, of course. So and it's probably the rats probably weren't happy with it because it's in an olive oil. So, no, it just doesn't. It just kind of it doesn't make any permanent chemical bonds in the body. So it just kind of washes out, diffuses out of the body. It comes out in the urine and out through the liver.
Okay. Both.
Yes, both.
The liver and kidneys.
Yes.
So this is going through, it doesn't react with anything. What you're suggesting is it's picking up things on its passage through the body.
Well, actually what it does, it's actually like a superoxide will come to it, and superoxide has an extra electron. It'll actually take the electron from the superoxide, give it to one of the hydrogen ions that it's taken from the environment, and then just releases the oxygen to go back in the Krebs cycle, let's say.
Right.
And then it just resets itself. And so let's say in the mitochondria, because it'll pass the gut barrier, passes the blood-brain barrier, goes into the cells by endocytosis, then into the mitochondria by endocytosis, where it works as an SOD catalase mimic. And I don't know if you get a little sciencey on you for the people about how it works in mitochondria if you want.
I would like that because we have a lot of people into science on my Substack. Thank you.
Okay, because I told you it takes positive hydrogen ions, so the outside of the mitochondria is positively charged with positive hydrogen ions.
Right.
And then the inner part is negatively charged. So basically what C60 will do, it'll go through and hang out at the positive ions and fill up with positive ions, about 6 of them, positive hydrogen ions. And then it kicks off, obviously, because it's positively charged. It heads toward the inner negatively charged layer. And along the way, it neutralizes superoxides and I suppose the occasional hydroxyl ion that you find in there. And eventually it will use up those hydrogen ions. And then superoxides will stick to it. And that makes it negatively charged. And then it goes back to the positive outer barrier where it neutralizes those superoxides, refills with positive hydrogen ions, and heads back to the negatively charged inner layer. So you can have hundreds of thousands of little C60 molecules bouncing back and forth inside your mitochondria, kind of lowering the lowering the oxidative burden, because a lot of those hydrogen superoxides don't leak out of your mitochondria into your cell, into the cellular, or I guess whatever you want to, into the rest of the cell, and where they can cause oxidative damage.
So one molecule of C60 is shuttling back and forth many times between the inside and outside.
Yes, it resets itself. Now, there's two ways for take care of hydroxyl ions. One is it will actually donate a positive hydrogen ion, turning a hydroxyl back to a water. Another way is if it's the hydroxyl will stick to the C60, and a nitrogen oxide, NO2, will come by and combine with it, and it gets neutralized that way.
All right, let me play devil's advocate for a moment. To prepare for this interview, I looked on AI today, and AI said C60 may have these benefits, and then it qualified. This is AI, all right. And then it qualified it by saying nothing has been proven yet, but it may have these benefits. Explain to me why AI was not more specific with benefits.
Well, because it is controlled, but I mean, there's plenty of animal studies. Now, there isn't that many human studies. There are a lot of cell culture studies, human cells in culture, in vitro, I guess you would call it, that have had lots of positive benefits. In fact, you can go to our website, shopc60.com, or you can go to whatisc60.org. And whatisc60.org is like a 501c3 that we and some other C60 companies support, because there you can get the human studies, the animal studies, and the positive and negative studies. One of the things is you have to be careful of the C60 you use, because particles of C60 have no benefit, no antioxidant benefit. In fact, they can be inflammatory. The C60 you have has to be dissolved, either through the oils that we have, or sometimes in scientific studies they have polyhydroxynated C60. Of course, those polyhydroxides get taken off by nitrogen oxide until it becomes pristine C60 again, and then it's biologically active.
So then what is the difference? Your company is Purple Power.
Yeah, well, actually, it used to be C60 Purple Power. We changed it to C60 Power because it's not so hippy-dippy. So it was just a name change. What we do is obviously our oils, they're all organic, and they're stable. So we don't use any of those seed oils like safflower oil or sunflower oil that can be they're seed oils that are kind of too much omega-6s, and they're inflammatory. And also, we don't use things like hemp or flaxseed oil, because they would probably go rancid by the time they reached you. So we kind of find the Goldilocks of oils. We also use, more importantly, we use sublimated C60. Now, sublimation is like a cousin of evaporation or distillation. And so it's when basically a solid turns into a gas, then back into a solid. And that's done in a sublimator, right? A lot of C60 has industrial uses. And so a lot of it is produced using a methylbenzene technique, where they dissolve it in methylbenzene, a known carcinogen, and then they run it through diffusion filters and whatever, and finally they pull it out. Then they have to bake off the methylbenzene, but you never really get rid of all of it. And so that's why if you want to go a C60 product, we're not the only one that sells a sublimated C60 product, but that's what you want to look for. You want to look for sublimated C60 and at 99.99%, right? That's the purest that we can get. Because if you go out there and you say find 99% pure C60, what that means, it's probably comes out of the methylbenzene method. And that other 1% is like methylbenzene. So you really don't want that in your diet. So always look for 99.99% and sublimated C60 product.
I want the viewer to understand what Ken was talking about regarding sublimation. Everybody knows that when water ice melts, it melts. You go from ice to a liquid. But sublimation is a different process. We'll use carbon dioxide as the metaphor. You get a block of dry ice, and it doesn't melt to liquid carbon dioxide. It sublimates, meaning the gas comes off as it, quote, melts. It's not melting to a liquid. So as the metaphor would be, let's say this is your block of C60, it would sublimate out, gassing out the C60, and that's what you collect to purify it. Is that reasonable metaphor?
Yes, that is a reasonable metaphor. Basically, what they do is C60 is made the same way it's made in giant red stars. That's actually how it was discovered. It solved the mystery in astronomy. And they basically just take carbon graphite in a electrical discharge, turns into a bunch of dust. And so when you heat up in the sublimator, when you heat it up, there's basically, you get somewhere between 1 to 10% C60 if you do it right in that helium atmosphere. And so basically the carbon ashes don't sublimate, and the C60 does at about 400 degrees Celsius, so it floats off, and that's how they do it. It's a much cleaner way than doing it with methylbenzene.
So, again, devil's advocate, is C60 found in nature, in our diet, anywhere?
Not today. I mean, it's like 1%, about 0.25% of a burnt wick of a candle is. But in the early Earth, C60, there was actually geologic deposits of C60, because C60 is hydrophobic, so it floats on water, but it's lipophilic, so it attracts fats and amino acids and hydrogen gas. And so there was actually geologic deposits on the shorelines of ancient seas in, Earth billions of years ago. And they think C60 might actually be, because if you actually take the C60 molecule, it fits exactly into the side groove of the RNA molecule. And they think that C60 might have originally been the scaffolding for RNA and DNA chemistry early in Earth's history.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. But if C60 is not found in nature or in our food, how can it be distributed as a nutritional supplement?
Well, we actually don't have it as a nutritional supplement. It doesn't really fit in any box. I mean, it's basically the cells seem to know how to use it, and perhaps that understands why it has no toxicity at any level. And because it doesn't, and it deals with the hydroxyl and the superoxide molecules or radicals. And so it seems to be, it's kind of a mystery, but we think maybe because it was the original antioxidant of life, it kind of just goes back into that role when it's introduced into the body.
Before we jump back in, we would like to give another shout out to our sponsor, PROMOLIFE. Bringing you closer to the benefits of ozone therapy, proudly rooted in the USA, PROMOLIFE is at the forefront of assembling ozone therapy generators designed for both personal and professional use right here on American soil. Meticulously handcrafted and precision calibrated, each ozone generator speaks quality and reliability. PROMOLIFE has simplified the ozone therapy process by offering a complete line of high-quality accessories that allow you to use ozone in ways you never thought possible. Don't miss out and explore the entire collection of cutting-edge offerings at www.promolife.com/ozone. Make sure you use the coupon code in the description of this podcast for an exclusive discount towards your journey to enhanced well-being. This episode is also brought to you by Simply O3. We are proud to introduce our latest innovation, Glycine, a premium ozonized glycerin designed to support your wellness journey. Ozone therapy has been transforming health for over 100 years, backed by more than 2,500 medical studies. Known for boosting immune function, improving blood flow, and reducing fatigue, it is a powerhouse for your health routine. Ready to experience Glycine yourself? Visit www.simply03/ozone to order. If it's back ordered, just leave them with your email, and you'll be the first to know when the next batch is ready. Don't miss out and discover the benefits of Glycine and take a step toward better health today. And remember, your health is an investment, not an expense. With Simply O3 and the revolutionary product, Glycine, you're choosing quality, innovation, and care. Visit www.simply03.com/ozone and make Glycine a part of your wellness routine today.
Ken, you've already discussed macular degeneration a bit, and I want to step it up on myself for this. I'd like to know what other things you use C60 for, and if you can give us some human experiences.
Well, I can read a couple of our customer, testimonials they send us. So here's one. I'm 7 years old and have been in I'm 70 years old and have been in poor health. However, after 1 year of taking C60 Purple Power, my high blood pressure is gone. My eyesight has markedly improved. My aches and pains have disappeared. My high frequency hearing loss, since I had 18 years old, has disappeared. My hair is browner, and my energy level is much, much better. I've also lost 50 pounds, and I was diagnosed with an endocrinological as being overweight due to a genetic problem with my liver, which runs in my family. So the only explanation of weight loss is what I would call a miracle restoration of my liver function. And there's a little bit more to that, but that's an example of things. We've had people that have a 30% loss in their kidney function, and the nephrologist tells them there's nothing they can do. So, but they take C60, and several months later, they go in for testing and it's 100%. But I think the key is mitochondria function.
What evidence do you have? What evidence do you have that this is improving mitochondrial function, even in animals? Because that's huge.
Oh, they have plenty of scientific studies, especially if you go to whatisc60.org, you can read some of those studies. And what it does, it acts as a superoxide dismutase catalase mimic in the mitochondria. And so a lot of people, as we get older, our larger cells produce less superoxide dismutase for the mitochondria. And since mitochondria have their own DNA, they go their own regulation. They just have to slow down their production to preserve themselves. And so when you get your C60 as a superoxide dismutase catalase, they can turn themselves back on. And once your mitochondria are functioning better, you get more ATP, which is the energy molecule cell, and you also get more pregnenolone, which is a precursor molecule to all the hormones, and of course there's various precursors for RNA and DNA synthesis that the mitochondria make. The mitochondria is like one of the critical organelles within the cell.
So, Ken, you were talking about the C60 replacing SOD. So, if I'm getting correct what you said, the mitochondria, as they age, produce less SOD, so they turn down their furnaces because they don't have the protection of the superoxide dismutase to protect them from the free radicals that they generate. So that's less energy production due to aging, less SOD. So what you're saying is the presence of C60 there replaces some of the deficient SOD to permit the mitochondria to upregulate their furnace. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. That's exactly what's going on. It's a mimic. It doesn't replace it. It just acts as an SOD. It's like a supplement that acts as SOD and does the job of SOD and catalase in one step. So actually also your catalase levels will rise because it's kind of taken that job as well. And that's been shown in scientific research to do that.
Okay, so at your website, people can go and look that up and see that C60 is doing this.
Yes.
So, Ken, you were saying that as mitochondria age, they produce less SOD, and SOD is a key enzyme to protect them from their own processes. Mitochondria are furnaces, and you get stray electrons, free radicals, which will damage them, and SOD protects them from that process. So they downregulate their energy production. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate. And
okay. So then with C60, because it's a mimic of SOD, and it can capture these stray free radicals, that would permit the mitochondria to self-regulate up its energy production. Am I accurate on that?
That is correct, and that's actually what happens, and that's been noted in scientific studies.
Well, that's major then. And SOD is a supplement that's on the market, but it's rather expensive and it's not well absorbed.
Yes, and that's why one of the key things with C60. Yeah, I mean the same with glutathione. A lot of glutathione has problems with absorption.
Okay. I like that because it would be a poor man's SOD. It's going to serve the same purpose. And SOD to me is going to improve longevity for a number of reasons. In fact, more SOD, you get more telomerase, which protects DNA. I don't know if C60 has been shown to do that or not, but according to what you're saying, it might. Comment?
Well, actually, yes. Their C60 has been shown to increase telomere lengths, but it doesn't do it by that. One of the discoveries they did, they found that they gave C60, injected C60 into the knees of rats. They had given the rats arthritis, and then they injected C60, and they found that the C60 reduced the inflammation within the joints. But then at the end of the experiment, they actually sacrificed the rabbits, and they found that the cartilage had actually regrown. And at that point, they discovered, there's further research found that C60 causes apoptosis of senescent cells. It basically, most senescent cells are in the fermentation mode, pretty much. And so what happens when they take C60, C60 will go into senescent cells. It will restart the Krebs cycle, and then the mitochondria will restart the Krebs cycle in those senescent cells. Then they'll send messages to the nuclear DNA, and they won't get the right information back, and that causes apoptosis of senescent cells.
Okay, for the viewer, what we're talking about is senescent cells, meaning aged cells. They're not working right, and we don't want them. And if they're there, they're taking up space, and they're useless cells. So the body has a process for knocking them out called apoptosis, where they self-degenerate, and then new cells can come in and take their place. How's that?
Yes, and one of the things, but also what happens after that is that now your tissues or your organs don't have as many cells as they need, and so that stimulates stem cell production. And so people that take C60 for long periods of time have a significant increase in stem cell production. And we've had people that had done telomere testing, and then they tested years after taking C60, and they found that their telomere lengths actually increased.
Okay, what you just said is really valuable to me. On the site, is there information that people can read? Because I'm going to go back and look at it, where the telomeres have increased with C60.
Well, that's just anecdotal with many of our customers. There hasn't been a formal thing on that, but we do know that there is apoptosis of senescent cells and then an increase in stem cells. And that is one thing that we know for sure, but there has not been an official study showing that C60 has increased telomere lengths over time. That's only anecdotal with lots of customers we've had.
I accept that. What about stem cells? Is there hard evidence that you're seeing an uptick in stem cells?
Yes, there's scientific evidence to back that up. And you can find that at whatisc60.org. It's the rabbit study and a couple of others. In fact, we have a lot on the Front Range here in Colorado where I live. We have a lot of stem cell treatment places, and some of them recommend that their patients take C60 before they come in for treatments, because then they know they're going to be a whole bunch of stem cells that they can get out. And the same with surgeons. We have a lot of surgeons that recommend C60 for their patients before they do surgery, because if you have a lot of stem cells in your body, then you're going to heal better and faster.
That's valuable information and really terrific. Is there anything else you want to add? For the viewer, we've had some technical difficulties on this, but I think we're collecting the main information I want you to see. Ken, is there anything else that we might have missed here that you want to convey to the viewer?
Not too much. I mean, some of the things, like if you're increasing pregnenolone, that you'll get an increase in hormones all across the body. So, you got more melatonin in your pineal gland, more human growth hormone and other hormones in your pituitary hypothalamus complex. And this is also one counterindication too that we need to have for a warning. If you're on blood thinners, you probably need to consult with your doctor before you take C60, because one of the things is C60 restarts mineralocorticoid production in the adrenal glands. And that's kind of what regulates, quote, blood thickness. And so if you're on a blood thinner, the underlying condition which might have caused your blood to be, quote, thick has gone away. And if you're taking blood thinners, now your blood can be too thin. So you need more testing for that.
So if somebody's taking a product like Coumadin, rat poison, that could be a concern with this.
Yes, that's that. We're not sure about some of those other there. I mean, there's that. Yeah, we know that will cause a problem, but there's some more specific blood thinner type things that work off different pathways.
Aspirin, Plavix, those could be a problem.
Yeah, we don't know about that, so we just say for all blood thinners. And also, sometimes there could be a little bit in the for hormone replacement therapy. Like we had a guy, he had his hormones testosterone was tested 350. You know, he went to his doctor. The doctor gave him creams, and he was running in the low 700s. And then he took C60. A few months later, he went in for his testing, and his testosterone was now 1200. So his doctor knocked him off the creams.
Okay. I want the viewer, you mentioned pregnenolone. I want the viewer to understand that too. Pregnenolone is the mother structure of all steroid hormones. Cholesterol gets converted by your body into the structure called pregnenolone, and then your adrenal gland or other organs will take the pregnenolone and make other steroid hormones out of it, including testosterone, estrogen, cortisol, etc. So you're saying that C60 will increase the pregnenolone level, which would enable your body to more naturally make some of these beneficial steroid hormones.
Yes, that's what happens because it's made in the mitochondria. So if your mitochondria is functioning better, you're going to get more pregnenolone just as a process. And so that's just one of the side effects that you'll see with taking C60.
That's a wonderful side effect. In fact, I know a lot of people who would be happy to have more testosterone naturally. And if this is a way to do it, is there any research on this showing that you actually, that any studies that you can increase these hormones?
There's no formal studies. Some animal studies support it, but there's no really formal studies. I mean, we've done some studies, but those are more like validated questionnaires that show, and others have done the same validated questionnaires that show benefits that have come to many customers that use it. And we have a lot of doctors that prescribe C60 for their patients, and we have case studies on those, but no large, double-blind study to back a lot of this stuff up. C60 is very new, and you can't patent C60. It's a naturally occurring molecule, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of incentive, and scientific studies cost huge amounts, and so there hasn't been a lot. Some of the universities have done studies, but that's mostly it.
Okay. Is there anything else? I'm glad we have a little bit better connection. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I ask Lucas for his questions?
Well, not too much. I mean, basically people should check. I mean, before you do anything, you should always be like your second or third opinion on a health thing. So, I mean, you can go to whatisc60.org. You can look at the studies and kind of learn about C60, and then make up your own mind, because we're really all responsible for our own health, and we really have to, be participatory and study it if we want to be healthy.
Thank you. Lucas, Mr. Dean, questions?
I got 3 questions. I wrote them down here. Just top to bottom here. Kind of want to know what the effects of oxidative stress are. So people who are experiencing these symptoms, maybe they could benefit from C60.
Well, oxidative stress is basically your body rusting. So things aren't going to work as well. That's what the brain fog is. People get brain fog. People get aches and pains in their joints. And then there's just all kinds of damage that's happening when you have oxidative damage. You just kind of feel it. You're just not going well. And when you lift that burden of the oxidative burden, everything works a little bit better. And so the pain goes down, your brain becomes more focused, swelling goes down, People can notice all of these things when you have less inflammation.
Inflammation, Lucas, oxidative stress, as he says, it's a rusting process. Now, we need oxidation for life. I mean, that is the most important thing for our lives. But the body can do some things with oxygen that is not necessarily constructive to the body in terms of electron transfer and the position of electrons. And that's what we call oxidative stress, and it can cause cellular damage.
So it's kind of like the 10 man's oil can here.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. What are the dangers, if any, of ingesting C60 if it's not dissolved in oil?
Oh, well, basically, there could be some inflammation of the intestinal lining if you use particles of C60, but most of it won't even be absorbed into your body. It's just going to be in your intestines. It can cause a little bit of inflammation, and that's pretty much it. That would be the problem. It's just that, I mean, it's like basically there are shards of crystal shards. I mean, it's like silica. I mean, dissolved silica is important for health. It's critical. But glass is made of silica. So if I ground up glass, the small particles and gave it to you, you'd probably have some negative effects there. And it's the same with C60. You have to make sure that your product is dissolved. It's not. It has to be dissolved, whether it's dissolved liposomally in an oil or it's polyhydroxynated. It has to be dissolved.
Perfect. So since this does help with like neurological function and stuff regarding the brain, is there known benefits for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's patients with using C60?
Yeah, so that's the mouse study is probably the most important one. It showed it prevented cognitive decline in these mice during aging. So, and that's one of the important, because really what you want is, what you're not looking for really is a long lifespan. You're looking for a long health span. When you live a functional life. I mean, being in a wheelchair drooling is not really a life. So that's what 60 can give you, is a better health span.
Right. Perfect. That was all my questions here. I do want to let the viewers know that C60 has been one of our original longtime sponsors here. So we do have an affiliation with them and their products. If you guys want to purchase anything from C60 Power, we've got links in the description of these videos, and you guys can use the discount codes for a little savings there.
Good to know. Thank you. I don't have anything more to say. I really appreciate the update, and I would encourage the viewers to take a look at the literature on C60. And like I said, I've been taking it, and this has rekindled my my interest in it to make sure that I'm taking it daily. I have missed some. I probably take it 70% of the time. I probably will take it 100% of the days now.
That's good to hear. I take a lot every day, so it's I'm 64, just turned 64, so not doing too bad. I don't dye my hair.
Well, I would like to have some color in my hair. My hair used to be this color. Ken, I'm sorry to tell you, the C60 didn't help this when I was taking it every day, and I don't expect it to, and I don't care if it does. But it would be nice.
I would just like to have some hair.
We have a couple other products for the women in the audience. We have a anti-gravity serum, and also a youth renewal eye cream. In fact, the very first human study of C60 was put in a cream for Japanese women, and they found that applied on the face, it reduces lines and wrinkles in Japanese women. So that's so C60 is proven to reduce lines and wrinkles. So that's something that a lot of people would like to have.
Well, this could be possibly a crude joke, but if it's anti-gravity product for women, I wonder what it would do for this portion of them as they age.
It's only one way to find out.
If you could do that, I think that you'll have a multi-billion-dollar product.
Yes.
All right. Well, that would be a good way to conclude, I guess, unless anyone has anything else to add or make us laugh.
Well, I just, check out our website, shopc60.com, and you can learn about what we have there. We have human studies there, but if you want to learn a lot more, go to whatisc60.org and look at all the different information that's available there. And then you can see the evidence and make your own decision on whether or not you want to use C60.
Perfect. All right. Short, sweet, and informative nonetheless. Appreciate you guys making it happen tonight.
Well, glad I could be there.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Ken.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors over at Simply03. If you haven't checked out their latest innovation, glycine, now is the time. This premium ozonized glycerin is designed to boost immune function, improve blood flow, and reduce fatigue, all backed by over 2,500 medical studies on ozone therapy. Don't wait. Visit www.simply03.com/ozone to order glycine today. And if it's backordered, just drop them your email and you'll get notified when the next batch is ready. Your health deserves the best, and with Simply 03 and glycine, you're on the right path. Start your wellness journey now at www.simply03.com/ozone. And before we go, a big thank you to our friends at Shop C60 for sponsoring this episode. If you haven't heard of C60, also known as Carbon 60, it is a powerful antioxidant designed to optimize mitochondrial function, fight inflammation, and neutralize toxic free radicals. I'm a huge fan of pairing C60 with a keto or intermittent fasting lifestyle to boost your immune system, support detox, and sharpen your mental clarity. If you're over 40, this could be the secret weapon to kick fatigue and brain fog to the curb. Head over to shopc60.com and use the coupon code in the description for 10% off your first order. Take control of your health and energy today. Visit shopc60.com now. Thank you for listening to this conversation with Dr. Rowen. If you found this podcast informative or inspirational, please share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. Until next time, stay safe and be well.